Good day everyone, Complaining Gamer here, and isn't it about time that we did some complaining? The game we're going to talk about is Titanfall 2. So the first weekend of the tech test has just finished, and boy have I got some opinions. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet for now and save a more comprehensive review for later. There are so many different things to comment on, but I'm not going to. I mean, I could talk about the fact that the game runs at 720p. I could talk about the fact that having VSync enabled causes frame drops. I could talk about the fact that the Titans are weak as shit. I could talk about the fact that the anti-Titan weapons are pathetic. I could talk about the fact that the game seems to have some kind of focus on pilots versus pilots. I could talk about the fact that Bounty Hunt as a game mode is horrendously, shockingly, painfully, ball-achingly shit. But I'm not going to do any of that. Something that's very important to note is that I'm coming at this as a huge Titanfall fan. I was extremely excited to get a hands-on with this game, and my initial impressions are just meh. Very unaffected, very unmoved. It's just middle of the road, average, uncompelling, borderline boring disappointment. I do believe that it's important to hold back a full opinion because the tech test was quite sparse in the content provided. Now, there has been quite a lot of negative backlash towards this game, namely in the fact that the maps feel a bit too big and often you can't seem to find other players. The three game modes, of course, were Pilot versus Pilot, Hardpoint, and Bounty Hunt. Now, the design of Bounty Hunt is just shockingly bad. The way you earn the cash through these different waves and then you have to deposit the cash. It's literally wank in a bag. It's shit. However, Hardpoint and Pilot vs. Pilot is fairly solid, even though I kind of, as a Titanfall enthusiast, I disagree a little bit with the Pilot vs. Pilot game type because you're going into the realms of just a standard FPS. The game is called Titanfall, so the focus needs to be on Titans. Even with the original Titanfall, I didn't enjoy the introduction of the Pilots versus Pilots playlist. I just think it's a dumb idea. Keep the Titans in the game. Now, the Titans in the tech test, they have completely lost any of the balls that they had in the original game. They are not tangible. They are not visceral. They do not feel strong and powerful. I would assume it's an attempt at balance because, of course, on the original Titanfall, I remember I would get into an Atlas Titan and I wouldn't die. I would dominate the whole match. And now it seems that you die a lot easier, a lot quicker, but at the same time it takes longer to earn that Titan that's going to die quickly. So they've kind of fucked up in that sense because they're taking away the core element of the game. Now, if we talk about things like frame rate and connections, I would say that most of my experience was fairly solid. You know, I didn't really experience huge frame drops. However, there was definitely lag, not necessarily from me, but from the opponents. I did see a lot of people just skipping around. I'm not sure what the exact reasons for that are because there are many available data centers with fairly low ping in a lot of different locations. So there's no real reason for that to happen unless the lag compensation in the game is quite strange. And I did find that sometimes I would be around a corner but still die, and I'm thinking, well, this shot is physically impossible. So it definitely wasn't perfect. Generally, player movement was fine. I particularly enjoyed the introduction of the grappling hook. I thought that was quite cool. The king of the game is still the R1 assault rifle. I mean, it's simply the best gun. The Crabber sniper rifle is an absolute sack of bollocks on a Sunday. It's horrendous. Don't waste your time. And the other guns are just a bit meh. Now, on the final day of the tech test, the Sunday, I finally started to enjoy the game a little bit. And why was that? Well, the reason was simple. We started to develop actual teamwork. So we would have multiple Titans against an enemy Titan. We would all be pushing for the same goal, and it completely changed the experience. And that's always one thing that extremely frustrates me in a lot of different games. The lack of teamwork drives me mental. So I do think it's important to restrain from 100% condemnation of the game because there is going to be another tech test weekend where I'm sure they're going to introduce a few different maps, a few different game modes, and we will see what happens. However, as we've already seen with pre-orders, the game is not doing too well. Another thing that I nearly forgot to mention is the fact that the graphics are very average. Like I say, the game on Xbox One, which is the platform I played on, is running at 720p. So already a very, very low resolution. And the color palette is extremely bland. The game is just flat. It lacks any type of saturation or contrast or depth. It's just a very bland palette, which is something that they should definitely change, I think. The 2 maps provided are okay. The game types are okay, except for Bounty Hunt. They need to press the delete button on that one because that one is just shit. It's really, really bad. But Pilots versus Pilots and Hardpoint can stay. And guess what? Here's a crazy idea, Respawn. Bring back Attrition, the game type that everybody wants to play. Anyway, like I say, we will see what happens with the next tech test. I almost find it insulting that they have plastered all over the game and all over social media, pre-alpha, pre-alpha, pre-alpha. This is the final product. There is no way this game is pre-alpha. The game you played in the tech test is the game that will release in October. I guarantee you that 100%. Of course they will make tweaks, but the core mechanic, there's no way that the visuals and the core game are changing. Please don't try to insult the player that way by using a cheap get out of jail free card pre-alpha title just to say, oh, it's a pre-alpha, it's a pre-alpha. My fucking ballsack, it's a pre-alpha. Battlefield does the same thing. Oh, here's the beta, here's the beta. No, this is the final product. Can Respawn save the game? They absolutely can, but they need to do some very, very important balancing. How about bring the Titans back to life? Give them that solid feel that is so desperately lacking in Titanfall 2. Anyway, people, you can agree, you can disagree. I'm going to leave you with like a 1-2 minute clip of a nice little spree that I got. Of course, we will review and come back to the game again when we know a bit more. But for now, let's just wait and see. Okay, so if you like the video, thumbs up, subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Have a good day. In a bit.
Doing great, team. They don't have a chance.